You are joking me, literally. Labour never seem to fail with their new ideas and law proposals. However, this one regarding misogyny must be the craziest idea yet. Yes, Labour are set to introduce a law for misogyny that will see you treated as a terrorist. Yes, a terrorist. You know, the ones that go around killing masses of people. This latest free speech law will see you treated as one. Before we dive into this news, please hit the like and subscribe button and join our fast-growing community. The UK government is reportedly mulling to treat misogyny as a form of terrorism. According to the Telegraph report, in order to tackle the growing incidents of violence against women and girls, UK's Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, has ordered a review of the counter-terrorism strategy, which will help identify gaps in current laws and also study emerging ideologies, especially online misogynistic discourse. They went on to state that Andrew Tate has radicalised teenage boys the same way a terrorist draws their followers. Now the UK government is reportedly mulling to treat misogyny as a form of terrorism, so this new law will crack down on misogyny online as well as in person. Now, obviously, like any normal human being, we all do and should respect our women. However, all this is another guise on trying to stop your free speech. Can you not see this Labour government's agenda? However, not only that, but it's a one-way street. They want to crack down on hate towards women. However, they won't crack down on far-left feminists for their hate towards men. It's a one-way street. But if they want to enforce a law, they must make it equal and not just targeting on demographics. But does it surprise you that they just don't treat it equally across the board? More to the point, we must strip trying to silence people's views online. There is no rise in incidents happening. It's just the rise of social media that makes us see these incidents more. First, they stop you from writing your beliefs on social media, and now they bring in a law that will see you treated as a terrorist if you make a joke about women. Again, just to clarify, I don't believe any violence towards anyone, let alone women, and I don't want our women feeling unsafe in our own country. But don't let this government fool you that they have our women's best interest in their heads. This stunt is stop your free speech. If they cared so much about protecting our women, they would stop the hundreds of illegal immigrants coming into the country per day that no one knows anything about. Also, the stats back up that they are the ones likely to commit said crimes against women. This Labour government are dangerous. This is not about protecting females. It's about laws to stop you speaking online. Rant over. Before we move any further, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, the Conservative Party is out of touch with voters, and the candidates vying for the leadership are desperate, according to Reform UK Deputy Leader Richard Tice. So far, 6 Conservative MPs, Kemi Badenoch, James Cleverly, Robert Jenrick, Priti Patel, Mel Stride, Tom Tugendhat, have thrown their hat in the ring to be the next leader of the party. Asked if the contenders for the leadership were right to rule out a deal with Reform UK, Tice said in an interview, "They're all frankly desperate in their own sort of sweet way. No one's really interested in what's going on in the Tory party. They got annihilated in the election. They seem completely invisible. We're the only people that are actually talking about immigration. Priti Patel seems to have completely given up on it. She's proud of her record of emboldening mass immigration between 2021 and now, and she won't even leave the ECHR. These are things about which, actually, the majority of the British people are settled. I just think they're out of touch, and the real issue, which is what the Labour Party is doing with taxpayers' cash. We're now on a sort of an escalator ever upwards of union demands for ever bigger pay rises, and that's going to be a catastrophe for the UK's finances." He added, "What you do in the private sector, when you talk about pay rises above inflation, you say, well, there's got to be some productivity improvements. There's got to be some performance-related element to it. It works in the private sector. You get growth, and that's what we need. We need some productivity, and we need some performance in the public sector. The truth is, as the wage bill goes up, the number of people working in the public sector goes up. Productivity is collapsing, and it is sending our taxes to 70-year highs. And yet what works out there? The truth is, almost nothing does work. You're seeing a sort of just a never-ending leapfrog process between the unions in the public sector to get ever higher pay rises. He claimed that prosecutions of people over the unrest since the Southport murders show that there is a two-tier justice system. I think it's ridiculous. I've been one of the strongest critics of these policies. It seems that you can rape people and not go to jail. But if you put out a piece of information that you in all seriousness thought was genuine, it turns out to be incorrect. If you're from the right, then you get arrested. If you're from the left, from one of those various organizations like Hope Not Hate, talk about acid being thrown over a woman. Absolutely appalling. We've got two-tier politics, two-tier policing, and two-tier justice, and it's a very, very dangerous, slippery road to be going down. In other woke news, the Church of England looks set to undergo a woke rebrand yet again by dropping the word church in favour of relevant and modern-sounding descriptions, such as community, a new study has suggested. Lambeth Palace appears to be avoiding the traditional word when discussing the creation of new worshipping communities and congregations. The Centre for Church Planting Theology and Research looked at the language used by 11 dioceses to describe new churches. It claimed 900 new churches, set up by the dioceses in the past decade, all opted against using the phrase church plant as its primary description. Reverend Dr. Will Fulger, who authored the report, found that 6 of the 11 dioceses used the language of worship, 2 used congregation, and 7 used community. However, Dr. Giles Fraser, vicar at St. Anne's in Kew, told The Telegraph that this apparent reluctance to use the word church reflects a misplaced desire to be relevant and modern-sounding. Writing for Unheard, Dr. Fraser added, "The church has given up on church. Not since Prince became Squiggle has there been such a daft revision." A spokesman for the Church of England claimed one reason why the word church appears less often in the description of new worshipping communities is that these forms of worship can exist outside of traditional brick-and-mortar churches. There are a growing number of new communities cropping up across the UK. A free mass service is now on offer to welcome families at St Barnabas in Ealing. Silent disco worship is also available at All Hallows Bow in East London. The new congregation was founded with an existing church in a bid to attract young adults. The Diocese of Worcester embraced outdoor worshipping in Team Valley South. The service includes countryside walks, stopping for Bible reading and prayer along the way. These communities often meet in existing church buildings, attracting additional worshippers alongside traditional congregations, but they are as much church as any other form of worship, a Church of England spokesman said. However, Dr. Folger acknowledged that this change in language by the Church is forcing us to redefine what we think a church is in the Church of England. He also stressed that the debate had left certain parts of the Church, for whom fidelity to ecclesial forms and practices is central, feeling outside of the planting conversation. What are your thoughts on this attempt at stopping your free speech? Let me know in the comments below. Please hit the like button and subscribe button and join our fast-growing community. Thank you, and take care.